Beijing loyalists Maria Tam and Rita Fan wade into the debate on national anthem law. Local economic growth slows a bit in the third quarter. And on the eve of APEC, U.S. and Chinese presidents lay out their competing visions for global trade.
Good evening. A local deputy to China's parliament doesn't expect people to stop.
It costs us time and increases roadside air pollution. It also affects our economy and our daily life. To improve things, we must change our habits. Let's work together. Follow traffic rules at all times. Use public transport and walk instead of driving. If we reduce traffic jams, everyone benefits. Think privacy. Be smart online. Don't download suspicious mobile apps. Don't use an easy-to-guess password for all accounts. Installing a webcam without security settings, the page could be intercepted. Ignoring privacy settings in a social network account, personal data could be exposed. Don't use free public Wi-Fi recklessly. Delete preferred networks after use. Change online password regularly. Be smart with password security.
無論喺工作上遇到幾多困難，我哋都會不偏不倚，執行職務。
即使查案搜證嘅過程好似大海撈針，我哋都唔會放過任何一個線索。
有市民嘅支持同協助，我哋會繼續勇敢無懼，維護法紀，攜手滅罪，守護香港。
我同好多打工仔一樣，每日都搏到盡。退休未諗啊！
You are there for a certain purpose, and if it is part of the arrangement that the national anthem will be played and you're asked to stand up, then I think you should stand up. If you don't stand, it doesn't mean that automatically you're guilty of anything.
A member of Beijing's top legislative body urged those who disrespect the anthem to consider the divisive effect it was having on the rest of the community.
Any investor or enterprise who wish to set up shop in Hong Kong, if they take this group, this very small group, seriously, then the conclusion will be Hong Kong is politically unstable. And if Hong Kong is politically stable, it will hurt our economy, it will actually affect our international image, and it will do us harm for the whole community. Not 到盡。
好人同我哋爭。
Under the competition ordinance, it's illegal for competitors to rig bids. The Competition Commission will combat bid rigging cartel.
Did a law banning disrespectful the national anthem to Hong Kong. The law came into effect on the mainland in October and carries a maximum penalty of 3 years in jail. Anne-Marie Sim, TVB News.
Hong Kong's economy slowed down in the third quarter, according to the latest data out today. But as Caleb Lung reports, strong consumption and rebounding exports have led the government to increase its growth outlook for 2017.
Hong Kong's economy grew 3.6% in the third quarter, down from the second quarter's figure of 3.9%. But economists felt the overall outlook was a positive one.
This marks the fourth consecutive quarter of above-trend economic growth. Taking into account the positive global economic outlook and the support from the resilient domestic demand, Hong Kong's economy should attain further solid growth in the rest of the year, despite a higher base of comparison in the fourth quarter of last year. Therefore, the real GDP growth for 2017 as a whole is forecast at 3.7% in the current round of review, which is higher than the midpoint of the range forecast of 3 to 4% as announced in August 1.
The government also said the residential property market continued to moderate in the third quarter, extending the trend that began in June. The number of residential property transactions fell from 18,900 in the second quarter to 13,200 in the third quarter.
Trading activity slowed down in the third quarter. and overall flat prices also saw a slow increase of only 1%. We believe that potential home buyers should stay alert to the trend of rising interest rates and the notable increase in housing supply in the pipeline.
Still, compared to the 1997 peak, overall flat prices in September were 97% higher. What's more, the housing affordability ratio worsened to around 68% in the third quarter. The government also adjusts its forecast for inflation for the year.
The headline consumer price inflation rate is now forecast at 1.5% instead of 1.6%.
This was due to slow increases in import prices and moderate local cost pressures. KW TVB News.
Leaders from more than 20 countries have arrived in Vietnam to talk trade and security at the annual Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. But U.S. President Donald Trump has already indicated America will be demanding trade deals tilted more in its favor. James Aiken reports.
Donald Trump landed in Da Nang today, ready to set the tone for a key trade summit. He told leaders that the United States will no longer put up with trade violations, cheating, or economic aggression.
Those days are over. We will no longer tolerate the audacious theft of intellectual property. We will confront the destructive practices of forcing businesses to surrender their technology to the state and forcing them into joint ventures in exchange for market access.
Although Trump was addressing a business conference of Asia-Pacific leaders, he repeatedly referred to the Indo-Pacific region and mentioned the importance of India. Trump said the U.S. is ready to make bilateral deals with any country in the region, but only on the basis of mutual respect and mutual benefit. APEC, which has long championed free trade, has been shaken by the Trump administration's America First policy. Since Trump abandoned the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal, the remaining 11 members have struggled to build momentum to keep it alive. Still, those leaders remain confident they will be able to hammer out a basic agreement without the U.S.
When we look at Asia, we see a noodle bowl of trade agreements already. As all these other countries around the world are moving forward on trade and getting better deals for their companies, the U.S. is falling behind, and that's the real problem for American companies.
Trump arrived in Vietnam after a stop in China, which mainland media has declared set a new blueprint for handling U.S.-China relations. Meanwhile, President Xi Jinping told leaders that globalization is irreversible and nations need to stay committed to economic openness.
Openness brings progress, while self-seclusion leaves one behind.
Xi urged more balanced and inclusive trade deals and said China will significantly ease market access restrictions and treat all foreign businesses in the country as equals. James Aiken, TVB News.
Also in Vietnam, Chief Executive Carrie Lam met with the country's Prime Minister on the APEC sidelines.
I told Mr. Prime Minister that I was expecting to retire in the middle of this year. I had promised to come to Da Nang as a tourist. So I never expected that I would contest the Chief Executive on the election.
Trade and investment cooperation between Vietnam and China in general, and with Hong Kong in particular, has been flourishing over the past years.
So here, what else the pair spoke about is the government's press materials only indicated they exchanged views on issues of, quote, mutual concern.
Now to news in America, a shocking allegation of sexual misconduct is threatening the Republican Party's chances of holding on to their majority in the Senate. This after a woman claims GOP Senate candidate Roy Moore sexually assaulted her as a minor. Crushing allegations against Senate nominee Roy Moore 1 month before the U.S. state of Alabama's special election. Blake Horfman named and shamed him in the Washington Post over an encounter almost 40 years ago. She was 14 years old and Moore was 32.
assistant district attorney when he drove her to his home. That's where he allegedly guided her to touch him in a sexual manner as he fondled her, but there was no sexual intercourse. He's also accused of dating other teenage girls when he was in his 30s in Alabama, where the age of consensual sex is 16. Moore, who currently has an 11-point lead in the Senate race, called the Post report garbage and fake news. He accused the Post of attacking him politically because the paper publicly endorsed his political opponent. Knowing if he loses, the GOP could lose their majority in the Senate, Republicans pressured Moore to quit the race.
To say if these allegations are true, Roy Moore should step aside for all the obvious reasons.
If that's true, I don't believe there'd be any place for him in the U.S. Senate.
President Donald Trump also called on Moore not to run unless he's being wrongly accused, and his administration concurred.
We need to listen to both sides, but at the same time, that hypothetical would be disqualifying for anyone in public office.
Reaction among voters was mixed.
If it was me, if somebody done me wrong, I would go ahead, when the event took place, I would say something then. Why would I wait 30 years?
From what I've heard about his background, I guess I just didn't see him being that way. I don't believe them at all. I just don't believe Roy Moore did that.
Moore plans to fight the allegations because he never backs down. Case in point, he was ousted from a judicial post when he refused to take down a monument of the Ten Commandments outside his courthouse. An ironic twist for a man who's now being morally challenged.
French President Emmanuel Macron has met with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince for hastily scheduled talks. The surprise trip to Saudi Arabia comes as Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman cements his power amid a series of high-level arrests of princes and business leaders. The kingdom describes the moves as a crackdown on corruption. Macron said it was vital to work with the kingdom for the stability of the region. His previous stop was Dubai. While he was there, Macron condemned the launch of a ballistic missile at Riyadh by Yemen's Shiite rebels over the weekend. He said it was obviously Iranian.
And still to come in our newscast tonight, retired superintendent on trial for hitting pedestrian during Occupy defends his use of a police baton. An old factory building, which was gutted in yesterday's fire, remains sealed off. And the official football for the 2018 World Cup is unveiled.
Phong濕痛，類風濕痛，頸椎痛，腰間盤痛，點解反反覆覆痛？
濕氣去唔到，就會反覆痛。
濕氣侵入骨骼關節，積久成痹，腫脹、變形、突出，疼痛反覆，除濕痹止疼痛，快用曹積麻牌醫生除濕止痛膠囊。11味純中藥組方，開咗除痹驅除濕氣，曹積麻牌除濕又止痛。
曹積麻牌除濕止痛，止痛痛，站起來，走起來，把好日子找回來。
治療風濕、類風濕、頸椎、腰間盤，快用曹積麻牌醫生除濕止痛膠囊，除濕止痛。水隨時揦嘢，你係人定係鬼啊？辟邪驅邪，鎮守四方嘅石精，石敢當是也。有啲精靈咧，俾人捉佢哋。 天生異品，從此生死不由己。點解啲血有靈力可以一齊飛落嚟？我唔係魔鬼，我係嚟拯救呢個世界。我哋要爭取！台喜劇同我哋版9點半比說台。
This as the accused offender, a retired superintendent, today wrapped up his defense in court. Albie Long reports.
Franklin Chu returned to the court building today to face his charge of assault occasioning actual bodily harm. He allegedly assaulted a passerby with a baton when he dispersed a crowd in Mongkok during the Occupy movement. His defense, Franklin Chu stressed he was exercising his rights under the Public Order Ordinance to apply force to disperse a crowd and prevent crime. The former cop said he had no time to check if everyone coming his way that night was a pedestrian or protester. The alleged victim, Osman Chang, was just part of the mob. The prosecutor suggested that Chang was not a protester as he wasn't seen wearing a helmet, protective eyewear or holding a shield. Franklin Chu disagreed. He said what prosecution described is a militant protester. Just because Chang wasn't equipped that way doesn't mean he's not a protester. He added that Chang had every opportunity to leave the area. He's sorry if the man happened to be stuck in the crowd when police took action, but that's not something he can control. The superintendent, who has since retired, admitted to hitting Osman Chang's back with a baton, but never on the neck. He also questioned why Chang did not take photos of his neck injuries that night to prove his claim. Closing submissions will be made on Monday, and the magistrate said she would need 2 to 3 weeks to reach a verdict. Naomi Long, TVB News.
An old factory building in Sampo Kong remains sealed off today. The move followed a blaze that took fire teams at least 8 hours to put out. Firefighters and buildings department staff carried out an inspection of the site this morning. The fire broke out at around noon yesterday. It erupted at the building on King Cook Street and quickly gained strength to a number 3 alarm fire. One woman was taken to hospital for smoke inhalation. The fire engulfed a second-floor unit used by an advertising firm. Sources say it was caused by an air purifier that short-circuited.
The Legislative Council spent a third day discussing the motion of thanks for the Chief Executive's policy address. Tonight, the motion was passed for the first time in 9 years. Winnow Wong reports.
Debate on the motion of thanks entered its final stage this afternoon. Lawmakers discussed the rule of law, the relationship between the executive and the legislature, among other things.
What about proving people's confidence in rule of law? For example, stopping the implementation of co-location at the West Kowloon terminus, or there should not be any abuse of the judicial system to prosecute political prisoners.
But Secretary for Justice Rimsky Yun hit back, saying judges clearly spell out the reasons for their judgments, and no politics is involved in the courts.
If you just disagree with the judicial results, it doesn't mean that without any objective facts, you should arbitrarily come to the view that the judicial process is influenced by political factors.
There was also some filibustering. Raymond Chan triggered a quorum call at 4 o'clock. And the meeting was stopped for about 10 minutes. It was able to resume when a large number of pro-establishment lawmakers returned.
Mr. President, this is the third day of the debate. I hope Mr. Ray Chan would have called for a quorum count for the last time.
The last several policy addresses saw lawmakers fail to pass the motion of thanks at LegCo. The last time it was successfully thanked was in the 2008 to 2009 term. Winnow Wong, TVB News.
Nearly 600 asylum seekers remain in a camp on Manus Island in Papua New Guinea, despite a court ruling that authorities no longer need to supply power, food, and water. Australia's frustrated immigration minister says they only have themselves to blame for their predicaments.
This is like having a tenant in a house. We're cutting off water and power to the old house, and we're paying for you to go to the new house. We're going to provide you with meals, with all of the security and medical needs you could need. And people are saying, well, no, I'm not going to leave the old house. I'm going to stay here, trash the place, and then put images out of that. That's what's happened here.
Meanwhile, protests against the authorities' apparent treatment of the asylum seekers continue. The camp inside a Navy base was declared closed last month after a court ruled Australia's policy of housing asylum seekers there was unconstitutional. They fear violent reprisals from the community if they move to transit centers.
On to more fallout over the independence declaration in Catalonia, as a top lawmaker from the region has now been thrown in jail. Catalan Parliament Speaker Carme Forcadell was transferred to a prison outside Madrid. She'll be kept there until she pays a bail of €150,000. Knowing Catalonia's deposed regional president fled to Brussels, the judge also confiscated her passport. Another 4 lawmakers were ordered to pay bail of €25,000, while a 5th was released. The move came after Spain's constitutional court warned the independence vote would be illegal. Prosecutors are now pursuing charges against 20 regional representatives in all. They include rebellion, sedition, and embezzlement. Chris, what do you have for us in sports today?
Bit of everything basketball to start, though. Okay, happy Friday. In the NBA, the Washington Wizards bounced back after a home loss to the league worst Dallas Mavericks with a 111-95 win over the Los Angeles Lakers.
There was plenty of Wall versus Ball hype coming into this one. Washington superstar John Wall against Lonzo Ball, the NBA's first overall pick in this year's draft. Ball hit a three-pointer here, but his early season shooting woes continued as he finished just 3 for 12 for 10 points. He did, however, add 8 assists and 8 rebounds. Ball hit a fadeaway jumper later in the third quarter to give the Wizards a 20-point lead. He finished with 23 points. The last time these two teams met, 2 weeks ago, the Wizards blew a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter to lose by 3 points in overtime. They wouldn't let that happen this time. Bradley Beal with a three-pointer midway through the fourth to open a 14-point Wizard lead. He finished the game with 22 points. With the win, Washington moves to 6-5, a disappointing start for a team expected to challenge for the Eastern Conference title. The loss moves the Lakers to 5-7. Alan Murray, TVB News.
The official ball for the 2018 World Cup was unveiled yesterday. The design harkens back to the Telstar ball from the 1970 World Cup in Mexico. The name comes from the early communication satellites of the 1960s. The distinctive black panels were designed so the ball would show better on black and white television. The new ball's longer panels are expected to give it better flight stability, and it has a communication chip inside. It's been given the thumbs up by club giants Real Madrid and Manchester United after testing. To the pitch now, where the Netherlands won a friendly over Scotland 1-0. Scotland had plenty of chances. Matt Phillips' shot early was turned away by Barcelona keeper Jasper Cillessen. Then another big save on Kieran Tierney. Memphis Depay scored the game's only goal. In golf, a dilemma on the PGA Tour in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Bryson DeChambeau was about to take his approach shot on the fairway of the 9th hole when he noticed a bug on his ball, and the bug wouldn't go away. He checked with the rules official who let him shoo the bug off so he could take a shot, and he went on to par the hole.
And that's our news. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Good night.
Hollywood. The body has been found at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
Is he ready? It's time to get back into Richard Castle business.
For his close-up
by coastal serial killer.
I cannot even believe I'm here.
Castle, season 8 at 10:40 on Pearl.
全球. For the first time, Ben embraces life in the woods as a scavenger.
This is a bit creepy.
Bits everywhere. He strikes me as someone that doesn't leave anything to waste.
Monday, Where the Wild Men Are with Ben Fogle, Season 4, at 9:35 on Pearl. Beijing. The time now is 7:56. Doxa International Time Check was brought to you by Myra Watch International Limited.
Hello, good evening. We have mainly fine weather in Hong Kong today. At 5 p.m, Tropical Storm Haikou was centered about 610 kilometers east of Xishan. It is forecast to move west-northwest at about 20 kilometers per hour across the central part of the South China Sea and intensify gradually. Up until 5 p.m, today's temperatures ranged from 22.9 to 28.4 degrees, and the relative humidity was between 62 and 81%. The current temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, with the relative humidity standing at 78%. So Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow? Relatively low visibility in some areas at first. Temperatures between 23 and 28 degrees. Windy with a few rain patches on Sunday and on Monday. Tomorrow's air quality health index will range from low to moderate. And the maximum UV index forecast for tomorrow will be about 7. Now to the latest global weather update. Cloudy in Shanghai and Xiamen, rain in Taipei. Cloudy in Guangzhou, bright in Macau, sunny in Chengdu. Sunny in Beijing and in Seoul, cloudy in Tokyo. Showers in Bangkok, rain in Ho Chi Minh City and in Manila. Thunderstorms in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, rain in Jakarta. Foggy in New Delhi, sunny in Karachi and in Mumbai. Sunny in Cairo, showers in Nairobi. Showers in Brisbane and in Auckland, Brighton, Sydney and Melbourne. Snow in Toronto, sunny in New York. Showers in Vancouver and San Francisco, cloudy in Los Angeles. Rain in London, Paris and in Amsterdam. Rain in Frankfurt and in Zurich, foggy in Rome. And that's the weather. Enjoy your Friday night.
Human remains. Don't take any chances. We are the last ones left. The mop-up crew.
I've been watching you, Jack.
Sunday, Oblivion on Pearl's weekend blockbuster. Deserts are growing bigger, hotter and drier, faster than ever before. The temperature reaches 50 degrees. Resident animals have developed remarkable strategies to survive in places where life is shaped by the scarcity of water and the relentless power of the sun. Tuesday, Planet Earth 2 at 9:35 on Pearl's anniversary special. 心血管疾病嘅危險信號。天草丹參保心茶，通血管，化瘀堵。
血管通咗，頭暈、胸悶、心慌。
血管通咗，血壓血脂正常啦。頭暈、胸悶、心慌，飲天草丹參保心茶，國藥茶對血管好，對心臟好。
究竟一個成年男人可唔可以跳過天台呢？老公，我成日喺度學你拉我上嚟先啦！我究竟做錯乜嘢喎？
冇錯啊！
人呢？你好樣衰啊！我唔想再做你啊！俾翻個佢我。
心臟唔好用好藥，益安寧丸。心臟好，人平安。益安寧丸傳承100年養生大方，冬蟲夏草、海馬、西蘭花、鹿茸等14味名貴藥材，濃縮成一粒小小嘅藥丸。小藥丸大能量，心臟好，人平安。冇事嘛？
冇事。心病專利藥益安寧丸。
阿爸，你跟住啊！
穩陣啊，放心啦，我哋平安，家人心安。冠心病專利藥益安寧丸，始於香港1886。處境喜劇，開心速遞，晚8點，翡翠台。
Right now, unfortunately, it is a very one-sided and unfair one. But I don't blame China.
The mainland residential property market is expected to remain stable through 2018, but government controls will continue. Moody's Investor Service said in an outlook report on China property markets that contracted sales on a 12-month moving average basis will likely see a slight decline of up to 5%. Moody's expects a fall in national contracted sales for 2018, mainly driven by lower sales volumes in lower-tier cities that saw strong growth in 2017. Middle Eastern carrier Qatar Airways is buying 9.6% Cathay Pacific Airways shares for about $662 million. The acquisition represents almost 3.8 million Cathay shares. Qatar Airways will become Cathay's biggest shareholder when the deal is complete. Swire Pacific is the largest shareholder with a 45% stake, followed by Air's 30%. Qatar Airways bought the shares from Hong Kong-listed Kingboard Holdings.
The recent IPO mania may draw investor attention. 28,800 will be the initial support, and the second support will be at the level of 28,500. On the other hand, the Hang Seng Index may be able to challenge the 29,200 levels.
Last month, we started looking into how various cities in the Pearl River Delta region can work closer together to bring about greater economic efficiency. Tonight, we find out how some key stakeholders can benefit from this initiative. Dub.
Simon Wang visits his family's Chinese medicine factory in Zhongshan every month. It's a 90-minute ferry ride to the 16-year-old plant.
and transportation is very good. It takes only 1.5 hours from Hong Kong to Zhongshan. There is a ship every day from Hong Kong to Zhongshan. There is also very easy to transport the products from Zhongshan to Hong Kong.
Simon's plant is inside a special district designated for developing health technology. Companies here accounted for 17% of Zhongshan's GDP.
Many Chinese medicine companies settled down in Zhongshan. The environment is very good, attracts a lot of talented people working there. We believe the environment will be more better for our medicine industry, and more talented people and more investor and more opportunity for us to develop the Chinese medicine industry.
Simon once hired 600 workers here, mostly packing Chinese herbal medicines and checking the quality against standards set by the government. The labor cost here is cheaper than in Hong Kong. Simon hopes part of the Greater Bay Area plan allows him to bring workers across the border into Hong Kong.
There are a lot of medicine talented people in China, like medicine professor or very professional doctor. They can come to Hong Kong to teach our next generation and cooperate more with the Hong Kong's company. Right now, it's not easy to take the professional Chinese doctor from China to Hong Kong because the different policy between Hong Kong and China. So it's not easy for us to bring them to do the medicine, like maybe do the treatment in Hong Kong or teach other people. So I hope in the future the policy will be more easy for us to do that.
Economists say the key to initiatives in the Greater Bay Area is how to facilitate the free flow of goods, money, and workers. People from the mainland and Hong Kong must be allowed to travel with ease across the border.
Recently, someone mentioned Shanghai. They discovered a problem. If they want to import people from Hong Kong to solve certain problems, such as applying Hong Kong or international standards in construction or in certain projects, they cannot do it. Certain certificates needed here are not required in Hong Kong. Can we have some arrangement to make things smoother? Such an arrangement must be considered at the entire Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau level.
Under the closer economic partnership arrangement, certain types of professionals from Hong Kong are allowed to work in the mainland now. But Simon says many doors are still left unopened.
We invest a factory in Zhongshan, but we're still a foreign investor. There are many Chinese production procedures. We cannot do it. The China government, they want to protect those technology from the foreign investor. Some very important production procedure we may need to outsource to other Chinese companies, so we cannot control the core technology by ourselves. Sometimes that will affect our quality.
Simon hopes some rules under the future Greater Bay Area policy can be changed to improve the efficiency of Hong Kong businesses. Economists say each one of the 11 cities within the Greater Bay Area has its own advantages. While Hong Kong is best known for its strength and global finance, Shenzhen has been nourishing a hardware incubation culture, and Zhongshan is becoming a green, comfortable residential town, ideal for retirement.
Zhongshan greenery ratio reaches 19%. Each person has 12 square meters of green space, which is a high ratio. The clean air and the environment makes it an ideal place to live in.
In 2015, the government decided to build the Shenzhen-Zhongshan Highway, due to be complete by 2024, cutting the travel time between the cities to just 30 minutes. This new project in Zhongshan is close to the highway. Law says it will attract not just retirees, but also young people.
啲人自己揸車翻上嚟啦，年輕嗰啲，咁咧年輕
Some may
住
drive
嘅
to commute to work, especially young people.
所以我哋而家嘅戶型咧，做一啲相對嗰個尺數啊。
We're building smaller 3-bedroom units, 1,200, 1,300 square feet to cater to them.
He says the Greater Bay Area will attract manufacturers to set up in Zhongshan, and that will increase worker traffic between Shenzhen and Zhongshan.
Over the past 20 years, Shenzhen has been growing at 10% each year. Now it's dropped to 2 to 3%. Feels like it's lost its balance. Can we slow down this lack of balance? One of the ways is to apply the Greater Bay Area model. We can all sit down and discuss to see if we can improve economic efficiency.
He says each city within the Greater Bay Area has something to offer. Whether it's container ports or airports, they're huge production base of global financial services. Teaming up to create higher efficiency will be the main challenge for stakeholders.
When we return, a sign of success. Inspired by a popular public transport. Stay tuned.
Animals come armed to the teeth.
Almost any animal has a weapon of one sort or another. Cats have claws, eagles have talons, even dogs have a respectable set of teeth.
But is bigger always better? Tuesday, Animal Weapons at 8:30 on Pearl. 6 weeks after the Hurricane Maria devastation, Puerto Rico is still mostly without power. Find out why the Millennium Tower is quickly becoming the Leaning Tower of San Francisco. And Alma Deutsche, a 12-year-old modern-day Mozart. Saturday night, 60 Minutes at 6:35 on Pearl.
等鲜肉要是进阶腰腿都灵活，上楼可就不费劲儿喽。
红毛药酒，中华老字号。红毛藥酒，每天良好。頭暈、胸悶、心慌，呢啲係心血管疾病嘅危險信號。天草丹參保心茶，血管化瘀倒。
血管通咗，頭暈、胸悶、心慌。
血管通咗，血壓血脂正常啊。頭暈、胸悶、心慌，飲天草丹參保心茶，國藥對血管好，對心臟好。紅毛藥酒治病又強身，祝你每天良好，健康長壽。一個人嘅節日從此不孤單，開賣商城俾你雙倍嘅甜蜜。個人護理區直降286蚊，美容彩妝區低至29蚊起，全場滿199送188。廣東廣播電視台開賣商城為你而來。街上的所有人都是过客，他，父親、婦女、君臣，早晚各散。封街放水，隨時揦嘢。你係人定係鬼啊？辟邪驅妖，鎮守四方就石精，石敢當是也。有啲精靈咧，俾人捉佢哋。天生異品，從此生死不由人。點解啲血會有靈力可以一齊去呢？我唔係魔鬼，我係嚟拯救呢個世界。我一定要殺佢！何以劇紅魔地版9點半翡翠台。
衰啊！我唔想再做你啊！俾翻個軀殼我。
It used to be just a skill to put destinations on minibuses. Now one man is using his calligraphy to expand into a unique industry. I report on the fading Hong Kong sector in our occasional series on old trade.
On this Tuesday morning, Matt Kam Seng is selling signs he made with Chinese calligraphy in Yau Ma Tei.
I'm Matt Kam Seng. Now I'm the only calligrapher for minibus sign in Hong Kong.
A career that began at age 15, Matt started out as an apprentice in the signage and billboard industry. He had to learn calligraphy by himself.
In that time, no computer, no photocopy, all the things by hand. So every day I go to the street calligrapher, request them to do some Chinese wording for us to make the signboard. They just tell me, if you learn how to do the calligrapher, you can buy a book and learn it yourself. So I just follow their advice.
An opportunity came in 1982, right in front of his just-been shop.
In front of my shop, the many minibus, the driver find out I can use the wedding brush for calligrapher. So they tell me to do some minibus sign for them. This sign is about for 30 years. The price is just $50. How come so low price? Because just use the calligraphy, use the wedding brush to paint this. About 1987, I buy the new machine to create new type of the minibus signage. This one. Nowadays, the signboard is 150.
Besides the traditional calligraphic style, Matt can customize the fonts. Red minibus drivers and owners are his main clients now, and there are 1,078 red minibuses in Hong Kong. One of them is driven by Johnny Tong. He's been Mac's customer for more than 15 years.
Wherever I go, that's what I buy. If I go to Kwun Tong, I buy Kwun Tong. If I go to Mong Kok, I buy that.
He's bought 4 signs, and each lasts for about 5 years. Certain colors are applied for special reasons. Minibuses only put destinations in red, blue.
Red color is the terminus, the minibus. The blue color is the pass by. They pass by Mong Kok, and then the terminus is the Jordan Road.
Max says the minibus signage business reached its peak in the 1980s, when air-conditioned minibuses were introduced. The drivers wanted new signs and accessories.
And that time, we open 7 days a week. Every day is about 12 hours working. It's very busy. I have the 10 workers at that time.
But his business started downhill in the 1990s, when commuters benefited from an expanding highway and MTR networks.
For example, it's the highway to Timon and the MTR. So most of the people is another choice. So minibus is the business run down. So our business run down too.
Mac had to find another way out, and it came after an encounter with a few tourists.
In 2010, some Japanese tourists passed by my shop and very excited to see the minibus site. Some of them buy for souvenirs. Some of them tell me to custom it for them. Make up my mind. Perhaps Hong Kong people will like this. So I start teaching and gift item business. Some of them is I use the slogan from the movie. This is a Bruce Lee movie. The name is The First Furry. At the last 5 minutes, the movie, Bruce Lee said, "Not enough knowledge. Don't fool me."
The souvenirs have taken off with the under 30 crowd.
They saw this catch up their childhood, their memory. So very exciting. We have the keychain for easy to carry. So they buy a lot for their friends and for their family.
His Foshan factory produces about 1,500 keychains a day. Every month, Mac rakes in about $250,000 in revenues, 80% from gift items. The rest are from minibus signs. Steve Ng distributes the keychains at 350 Hong Kong outlets, including this shop in Tsim Sha Tsui.
Hong Kong people love Hong Kong culture very much. In past 8 months, we sell over 100,000 pieces of keychain all over Hong Kong.
Each one sells for $35. His margin is 50%, totaling almost $2 million in revenues.
Because of the popularity of the keychains, the designers release new products such as this folder and octopus card holder. One expert says pivoting the business from signs to gift items was a smart move.
These pieces actually is part of the facade of the architecture. I think
Brian Kwok researches old storefront signs at Polytechnic University. He says the keychains have taken off because customers can relate to them.
Because Mastermind is like ordinary people, like one of us. His successful story also represents the Hong Kong spirit, like a hardworking person. He has many formal training, right? So he just built upon the craftsmanship. So, but for many years, but now he's success.
Back in Yau Ma Tei, Mac is teaching a class on calligraphy, the essence of the minibus signs. His customers begged him to give lessons about a year and a half ago.
Some of NGO, they come to buy the keychain for wholesale and then advise me, how come you don't teach the young guy how to do calligraphy for the traditional? So I tried the first class. It's a good experience.
He teaches 10 to 15 times a month, charging each student $200. This group of 35 work at a charity. They are on an employee outing this Friday.
Everybody kind of surprised and interested because they know more about like the history of minibus. It's quite special because we haven't touched or we haven't do anything about Chinese calligraphy since our primary school.
Besides raising awareness about the traditional minibus calligraphy signs, Mac has an ulterior motive.
I started a red minibus job from now it's about 35 years. I think I can do 10 more years. In these 10 years, I wish I can find someone to follow my job and to keep the history of the red minibus.
The students are evaluated on the beauty of their portraits, but so far, no one can be considered as the ideal successor.
Some of them have potential, but sadly, they very good job. Cannot do this just minor business. They are professional, architecture, lawyer. I cannot afford them.
With no apprentice in sight, the craft of making traditional minibus signs may become a thing of the past.
It's kind of a Hong Kong culture, and if it's just disappeared, it's kind of a loss.
Now let's take a look at some of the best and worst performing blue chips in the past 2 weeks. It's High Five, Low Five. Smartphone parts maker AAC Technologies, stock code 2018, soared to the top of our High Five board after getting more than 15% over the past 2 weeks. The company released its latest financial results today. Our analyst says market expectations are high, pushing the stock up.
A lot of investment bankers have been upgrading the target price to 180 or above. And the main reason is, one of them is because of the high profit driven, and the other thing because of the research and development on the optical lens, and they are going to be the main market leader on the hybrid land business.
China Overseas Land and Investment, stock code 688, tanked after it suffered a 4.4% drop. Patrick says home mortgages by mainland banks have been limited by regulators in order to cool the property market, affecting new flat sales by developers.
The home purchase restrictions by the mainland government and a lot of major developers, business has been dropping. And for the China Overseas, it is the worst performer in October, and it has dropped by about 41%.
Join us in 2 weeks for another edition of High Five Low Five.
Thanks for watching Money Magazine. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to TVB Pearl. Upshotby, join us as we cycle around Japan. Some schools in Hong Kong have been sitting idle for years. With the housing crunch, community groups have been wondering if people could be living in them. Some have even gone as far as to draw up plans. But will they work? The Pearl Report, Monday night.
中藥嘅智慧在於配方，中藥嘅精髓更在於精妙嘅配比，一分唔多，一分亦唔少。國藥茶天草丹參保心茶，以配方好、配比妙，達成藥嘅效果、茶嘅味道。以藥入茶，萃取濃縮紫花丹參中嘅功效成分丹參酮，融入有機綠茶中嘅功效因子茶多酚。通血管，化淤堵，頭暈、胸悶嘅時候，沖翻2袋，血壓高、血